he has a lot of rules to follow if he wants to stay out of jail. Okay, he's on parole until 2026, and this young man is only 26 years old. And he's a rapper. And there's a certain quality of life or not life that you lead, which led him to jail to begin with. And he was there for 6 years, and he did his reflections, and you know, he said, I'm never going back. I'm never going back. You know, like no alcohol, no bars. Like you can't be seen at bars and nightclubs. Substance abuse tests randomly. Like you can get a call, telephone or doorbell knock at 2 o'clock in the morning. You got to open the door and urinate or something. Yeah. He can't hang out with gangs. And see, that's a part of his curfew. You would think that would be, of course he wouldn't hang out with gangs, except gangs are all over rap. Oh, and that 8 p.m. curfew.
How you doing? Hey, just in case you're joining me for the very first time, I'm your host, the one they call Glaze Gibbs. And you know what? This is what I'm all about. Crime doesn't pay. You know what? I was listening to what Wendy had to say about Bobby Shmurda. About right now is by July, by the middle of summer, he'll be back in jail. You know what? Sit back and think about that or whatever. Don't get me wrong. It's stipulation and parole. He did a crime. He got convicted, and like I told you, he came home. So right now, he's not off parole until like February, 2026, like almost 5 years. So what she was saying is based upon the stipulation in the agreement as far as his parole condition. Right now, he got a curfew. He got to be in the house by 8 p.m. Okay. Then he can't drink no alcohol. And he can't basically hang out with, gang member, which is understandable. But what people got to understand is this, like, you know what, Wendy, like what you don't know is this. Here it is. This man is already disciplined. Okay, sit back and think about it. He just got finished doing 6 years. Okay, so here it is. Even with those 6 years, he had to discipline himself. He went from living a life of Raleigh, being rich, being a celebrity, to going to the prison system. And he had to adapt. So he had to listen. And then right now, when he got released from Clinton. Okay, Clinton Correctional Facility. So if he was in Clinton Maximum A, guess what? They're locked down just about all day long anyway. So he know how to discipline himself. So what you got to look at is he going to get out as far as to hang out, to basically right now do his job. Because he's an entertainer. He's a rapper. So he going to get shows, but he got to get permission ahead of time to do these shows. And trust me, right now, New York State Department of, the parole division will work with him. Because once again, he still had to make a decent living. Now, when it comes to alcohol, this man been wild drugs and alcohol for 6 years by him doing that bid. So that's not going to be hard for him. Now, when you sit back and you think about gang affiliation or whatever, the difference is right now, it's all about discipline. It's all about sacrifice. Despite he got 5 years left on parole, that don't mean nothing. Because once again, if he plays his card right, and being that you and probably so many other people got that gun to his head saying that he's going to go back, you know what? That's probably enough motivation to prove the naysayer wrong. I remember a situation with me when I came home. After me being who I was, Glaze Gibbs, career criminal, okay? Murderer, drug dealer, you name it. And you know what? Here it is. My odds when I came home, you know what they told me? Was the odds was against me to go back was just like that. Here it is right now. One person gave me what? They gave me 90 days to survive. Another group gave me 45 days to, survive before I wind up back into that vicious cycle, that multi-billion-dollar prison system. But you know what happened? I love it when that gun is to my head. I love it what the precious did. They say 45 days. You know what I'm saying? Here it is, U.S. probation, 90 days. Guess what? Here it is, 24 years later. Guess what? I'm free. Didn't go back to committing crime. Didn't go back into thinking that I need to live that fast life. Sometime right now, people don't understand you can change. And to me, if I can change, anybody can change. And my situation was far worse than Bobby Shmurda. And to me, you know what? Here it is. When I got out, I had 10 years supervised release. 10 years. But the difference is when I got out, And I told these people that I was never going back to jail under any situation, under any circumstance. I said I didn't care if I had to go around from garbage can to garbage can, collecting aluminum cans. I know right now within a 12-month period, if I collect 1 million cans at 5 cents a pop, that's 50 G's. If that's what I got to do to make sure that I never put myself back in bondage, that I never make that multi-billion-dollar prison system my permanent address, I was going to do that. That's what I was going to do. They laughed at me. They laughed at me and saying that, guess what? 90 days, 45 days, he'll be back. A year and a half later, they was amazed. What happened was they told me they had to review my files and try to see, wait a minute, hold up. What's wrong? This is not adding up. Why this man still free after a year and a half? Why this man still working? You know what I'm saying? Became a law-abiding, providing citizen. Why? Because once again, enough was enough is enough. I knew and I realized, guess what, folks? Crime doesn't pay. And I got tired of making that multi-billion-dollar prison system my in and out address. Prison, jail. That was my home. That was my home. That's the only thing I know. But the difference was the last time I was away, I knew enough was enough was enough. And I knew that, guess what? That I was not going to continue to pick up the brake, throw it at that prison wall for absolutely nothing. So being I was determined, I got out. And like they say, 18 months later, they talking about, whoa, they was amazed. Because a person of my caliber, guess what? Don't last long. Go back to their old trick and trade. Go back into their old criminal mentality and get caught up into that life all over again. But right now is, I fooled him. I, the one, Brian Glaze Gibbs, fooled him. Just like Bobby Shmurda, he gonna fool him. You know, here it is. I had 10 years supervised release. Bobby got 5 years left. Guess what? By me doing what I need to do, guess what? That within 2 years, that 10 years, they threw it out the window. Why? Because they're like, man, this guy really, you know what I'm saying, taking advantage of his second chance, his third chance, his fourth chance. This guy convinced us, despite we had all the odds against him, we betted against him, that he could not excel, that he could not change, that you couldn't teach an old dog new tricks. But I fooled him. Why? Because guess what? I was better than that. And I knew I was better than that. I knew my self-worth. And I knew I was not going back once I got that opportunity. And that's the same thing right now with the gun to Bobby Shmurda head. Guess what, man? He done been through worse. And trust me, Wendy Williams, you're wrong. Anybody else that's out there thinking that he's going back, you're wrong. Guess what? My belief, and I'm betting on him, he's going to stay out. And he's going to do the right thing. And he's going to prove everybody wrong. And that 5 years, guess what? It's not going to be 5 years that he's on parole. It's probably going to be like a year and a half, 2 years before he's released, because he became a modern citizen. He put all that negativity and nonsense behind him. So what I'm just trying to say right now is, listen, hats off and salute to Bobby Shmurda, because I know you can do it. You can do all things through Christ with strength for you. If God be for you, who can be against you? So prove them wrong, my brother. Prove them wrong. Let them know who you are. Let them know that you're a true young man and that you're going to make it. You're not going backwards. You're not going back to those hellholes. You know what I'm saying? Trapped in a cell. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes 23, 24 hours a day. These people telling you when you can wash your behind, when you can, eat. When can you make a phone call? When can you see your people? No, you letting them know, guess what? It stopped. So to have an 8 o'clock curfew, big deal. I'd rather have an 8 o'clock curfew than to be locked down 24 hours a day. And I'm talking about, look at Dana Moore. Look at the Max joints. They don't have, I'm talking about right now, they got cells and they got the big gray walls. Okay? Here it is. He's a survivor. He's not going back there under any circumstance. He learned his lesson. And what I want people to understand, guess what? Listen, my name is Brian Glaze Gibbs. Check me out. Hit my Instagram channel, Brian Glaze Gibbs. Listen, get your signed copy of the Beyond Lucky book, The Brian Glaze Gibbs Story, by email me, Brian, Brian, Gibbs, Gibbs, 1201 @yahoo.com. This is a blueprint that will stop your kids my kids, the future generation, that stopped them from making that multi-billion-dollar prison system their pyramid address. Listen, folks, we are better than that. And what we have to do is right now is, man, don't jump on that bandwagon. Support our young generation. Get them to understand it's help out there, man. It's help out there. Look for the sign when people crying out for help. Stop being on that bandwagon trying to put people down. Like I told you right now, Wendy, you got a powerful, powerful platform. And I understand what you're trying to say is the temptation. You know what I'm saying? The temptation is there. But guess what? You got to understand everybody's not weak. Everybody's not weak. Everybody do not have to fall victim to alcohol. Everybody do not have to fall victim to drugs. Everybody do not have to fall victim to that gang violence and that gang-related activity. Listen, people do change. People can change. And what I'm saying is, I'm putting all my money on Bobby Shmurda. He's not going back under any circumstance. You can take that to the bank. Thank you for joining me. Hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel. This is my ministry, and I am not your typical minister. One love.